Warning: if you have less than 10 teeth and think cows are sexy, you might be an Auburn fan and find the content of this podcast about Alabama football disturbing.
This is Crimson Corner, a podcast about all things Alabama football. You can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or the Google Play Store. Now, let's talk Alabama football with your host, Brad Mason and Jamie Thomas.
Here we go. Opening weekend. Kickoff is upon us this Saturday. We'll be ready for some Bama football. Welcome in to Crimson Corner. I am the resident Auburn fan around here. My name is Brett Mason, along with my partner in crime and expert Bama and analyst Jamie Thomas, resident Bama fan. War Eagle, buddy.
Roll Tide, roll, buddy.
We are ready for some football this weekend. Let me tell you something quickly we're going to be doing this season. Every week, I'm going to be scouring all the places that sell Bama gear and finding stuff that's awesome, high quality, and on sale so everybody can get loaded up. How much do you think you spend on Bama gear every year?
Oh, at least a couple $100.
The one thing I can say about Bama fans is they are not scared to spend money on Bama gear.
No, we love to support our team.
But I'll tell you what we found is awesome. Super high quality Bama shirt. It's 30% off. When I looked earlier, there was only 8 of them left, Jamie. So only 8 of them left. So if you want to snag one of those, you can go to a specific URL we've set up for it. It's easy to remember. It's alshirt.com. alshirt.com if you want to snag that. And next week, we'll have a different special if you just want to bookmark that website address every week. We'll be digging up new and exciting specials for you. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or the Google Play Store. All you have to do is search for Crimson Corner and Eagle's Nest. You can find us online at southeasternfootball.com. Let's talk about what should be a excellent opening games. I tell you, the NCAA has really stepped it up this year. There's just some excellent games to kick off this weekend with, and this is one of them, man. I'm excited to watch it.
It's going to be a great weekend for college football fans in general. I think they're calling this the biggest opening weekend ever. You know, there's games starting Thursday night, going all the way to Monday night. Marquee matchups every night. The SEC is featured every night. Start out tonight with South Carolina and Vanderbilt. I think that's going to be a pretty good game. We're going to get to see, your old defensive coordinator, see what he can do as a head coach again. And then, this weekend we've got Texas A&M, UCLA, we've got Georgia and North Carolina, and then of course, Bama, USC, and then the nightcap is Auburn and Clemson, and then Monday night Florida State and Ole Miss. So yeah, man, it's awesome.
So let's jump right into what's happening with the Bama. Saban made the statement earlier in the week that they're going to be going with a 2-quarterback rotation for the opening game to try to narrow down who the starters are going to be, which is something you predicted several weeks ago. Talk a little bit about that and what you expect in that regard this weekend.
I think what we found out from the press conference is despite how talented Jalen Hurts is, despite the big plays that he's made in camp, he's just not ready to run this offense. And that's understandable. The guy's a freshman. He did enroll in January to try to get ahead of the curve a little bit. But this is a complicated offense. This is about as close to pro-style play calling as you can get on a college level. I'm not knocking Jalen in any way. He just doesn't have the time put in that the 2 quarterbacks that were named for the rotation, Cooper Bateman and Blake Barnett, have to learn that playbook. Cooper's going to get the start. I think that's probably deserving. He's played in that big-time atmosphere. He started against Ole Miss last year. Didn't have an incredible game, but, really didn't suck it up too bad either. I mean, he wasn't ready then himself. He was a little young, still wet behind the ears at the quarterback position. And we're going to see a rotation of him and Blake Barnett. Really excited about seeing what Blake Barnett has to offer. We know he has a rifle arm. We know he can make the throws that Cooper Bateman can't make. But his decision-making has been a little in question. He tries to put the ball in places that he shouldn't try to put the ball. And that's not the type of quarterback Alabama plays with. So he's going to have to kind of rein that in a little bit, I think, if he wants to eventually win this starting quarterback job.
We threw a question up on our Facebook page, which is Alabama Crimson Tide on SEF, which stands for Southeastern Football. And we asked, since Saban made the announcement that you're going to get split reps opening weekend, who do you think is the better quarterback for the job, Bateman or Barnett? I'll tell you, most everybody, and with good reason, Jamie, trusts the mind of Nick Saban. So pretty much everybody's like, whatever Saban says is what we'll go with. We did have a few people, though. There's a couple of holdouts in there. Dwayne Reed, Colton Reeves, both are still holdouts for Jalen Hurts.
Not going to happen, guys.
We had a lot of people on board with Saban. Donnie Etheridge, Michael Partner, Austin Hunter, a bunch of guys chiming in. Everybody is on board with the Saban plan, which I'll be honest, if I had football decisions to make, I'd say whatever Saban says too.
I told you a couple of weeks ago, I'm not going to be that guy this year that doubts the decision on who Saban plays at quarterback. I'm not qualified to make that decision. I'm not qualified to judge him on that decision. Now, halfway through the game Saturday night, I may be throwing things and, begging for Jalen Hurts to come in the football game. But I'm going to be the guy that supports Nick Saban this year because he has proved me wrong now 2 years in a row.
Jamie has written an excellent, very in-detailed article about Bama beating USC this weekend and what has to happen in all facets of the game, and that is posted up on the website, southeasternfootball.com, if you want to go read that later. We will get the in-person version of that right now and talk about offense. What do we need to see? What do you expect to see from Alabama offensively?
Well, for Bama to win this game, and this is, really typical Saban football, you've got to protect the quarterback so that he can make smart decisions. You've got to dominate the line of scrimmage and establish a running game. As Bama fans, that's nothing new to us. It's what we've seen, the last 9 years with Nick Saban. So this is nothing different. What concerns me about the line of scrimmage, but there was a change. They moved Bozeman to center. They moved Pierce Barker to right guard. I don't know what that's going to do as far as the chemistry. As far as the offensive line, is that going to cause any problems? This would be now week 2 and 1 week of game preparation going into this. So that's going to be a little bit of a factor. What's the the exchange between Bozeman and Bateman going to be like? Is there going to be an opportunity for a fumble or for a mishandle? And then the running backs. Bo Scarborough, he's an absolute beast. Everything we've seen about him, he's the next great stud in the long line of Alabama running backs. But at the same time, we haven't seen really much of him in game time experience. He's young. He hasn't toted the rock that much. The guy behind him, Damian Harris, hasn't toted the rock that much. He played a little bit last year in mop-up duty. There's some concern there. The offensive line is going to have to come together. They're going to have to dominate that line of scrimmage and give the quarterback and the running backs opportunity to make plays.
Going with a typical Bama offense, USC, they set up to defend that.
Pretty good at the linebacker cores. They've got Cameron Smith coming back this year. He was Pac-12 Defensive Freshman of the Year, had 78 tackles, a sack, a couple of picks. He was really on pace to have a very good season for a freshman, or an even better season. That's excellent number for a freshman right there. 78 tackles is great anywhere. He was cut short early with an injury. They were, I think, 41st in the nation last year against the run. That's pretty good. They obviously didn't line up every week against, the hog mollies like Bama has on the offensive line that create the holes and, allow the running backs to get into the open field. So, yeah, they're pretty good defensively. To counter that, I think, you're going to have to see a lot of Calvin Ridley and a lot of O.J. Howard in this game. A lot of wide receiver screens, a lot of swing passes to get Ridley get the ball in his hands. I'd like to see the ball in his hands at least 15 times in this ball game, just because he is a playmaker. He has a potential to be an Amari Cooper style playmaker. You put the ball in his hands and great things are going to happen. And at the same time, O.J. Howard, he has a tremendous mismatch against the safety that's going to be guarding him. O.J.'s a big guy, 6'6", going up against the 5'11" safety and Chris Hawkins. Hawkins had a pretty good year last year, wound up, I think, missing 2 or 3 games due to maybe suspension. But this is big time. If we can get O.J. the ball, he proved to us last year in the championship game that he can be that big-time clutch receiver, and we've got to utilize him. If we don't utilize Calvin, we don't utilize O.J., and we focus just on the running game, then USC is just going to stack the box and force us to throw the football.
It's hard to remember way back to the beginning of last season, but I remember one of my it might have even been preseason, but one of my earlier preseason predictions was O.J. Howard was going to be somebody who would establish a name and be a big star on the team. And you never really quite saw that come to fruition, but he's solid, and that dude is talented. He's very talented.
Well, yeah, he's great. He had a better freshman year than he did last year, but they used him when they needed to. With the inexperience at quarterbacks this year, I think we're going to have a hefty dose of O.J.
Let's talk about the defense. I can tell you this. We posted an article yesterday that talked a little bit about the matchup, and boy, Bama fans went off about doubting the secondary. Why is everybody always doubting the secondary? Every year you're doubting the secondary. How are you feeling about that aspect of it this year? Because I know you're a guy who is quick to discount the secondary, and you've already had a couple questions this year in previous shows.
I'm concerned, man. The depth is just not there. We've lost some key players, and then we've got some guys that were 4 and 5 stars that just really haven't lived up to the hype. Tony Brown still has not come around, not playing up to his potential. He's been in the doghouse quite a bit. And that worries me because, in order for Bama to win this football game, they're going to have to shut down the passing game of USC. And by doing that, they're going to have to shut down this potential All-American wide receiver in Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, this kid is a big wide receiver. He's got hands like glue. Last year, he was 89 receptions, 1,400-plus yards, had 10 touchdowns. We are relying on Marlon Humphrey. Is going to have to be the man to shut him down this year. Now, Marlon struggled at the beginning of last year. The second half of the season, him and really the entire secondary really stepped up. So I'm hoping that carries over, that they continue to grow and they continue to play better, and that experience, pulls them together as a unit a little bit quicker than it happened last year. But that's a big task. I mean, that is a big-time wide receiver. I think I heard Coach Saban compare him to Dez Bryant, which is, that's big time. Dez is one of the best wide receivers to ever play the game. They've got a pressure first-year quarterback, Max Brown. He's a first-year starter. Cody Kessler's gone, graduated from USC. And really, for this to be his first real start against a powerhouse football team, going into Jerry's World, playing against one of the best defensive teams in college football, I think Bama's going to come out. They're going to come out blitzing early. They're going to do it often. You're going to see a whole lot of Timmy Williams. You're going to see a whole lot of Ryan Anderson. You're going to see a whole lot of Rashaan Evans pressuring the quarterback. This is a team last year that led the nation in sacks with 53. I think we're going to see a lot. I think we're going to see a lot of blitzing, a lot of pressure on the quarterback in order to take Juju Smith out of this game.
When you have a big, beefy, talented, dominant defense up front like that, they are licking their chops at the thought of making a first-year starting quarterback wonder why he ever chose that position.
That's right. It's going to be a big challenge for Max Brown. This is USC fans are going to know pretty quick what kind of quarterback they have.
So one of the things Bama's had problems with for the past several years is special teams. You talk a little bit about that. Do you think that's going to matter? Is this going to be a game that's potentially close enough you're going to need special teams play, or are they going to be fine without that?
No, I mean, the special teams are definitely going to come into play. Field goals. When Saban and Bama, they don't take chances inside the 20-yard line. Really don't take chances inside the 30. If he gets down there and he has an opportunity to take the 3 points, he's going to take the 3 points. And we need that because basically we're giving up an opportunity of that touchdown to put points on the board. The big problem there has been Adam Griffith. The poor kid has had an up and down tenure at Alabama. Last year, he made some pretty big kicks, but he also missed some in clutch that could have potentially hurt the outcome of the football game. Word is, he's put a lot of work this year and into the off season. He's been out kicking just about every day. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten more accurate. So he's improved quite a bit. On the flip side of that, J.K. Scott, the punter, last year wasn't as great as the year before. The year before he was averaging, I think high 40s, low 50s on his punts. That dropped off a little bit last year. When you have a punter like that can instantly change the field on a team like that, that's big time. Sometimes that's better than having an outstanding defense. It's just getting the ball down to the other end of the field and making the other team work for those yards. Punt returners, kick returners, looks like Calvin Ridley and Trevin Diggs are going to be splitting those duties. We're going to miss Kenyon Drake back there. Don't really know. I think we saw Calvin return a couple of kicks last year. He looked pretty good. Hopefully they'll allow him to open it up and really try to make some plays this year.
Well, I know you don't like making score predictions. But since I know you already wrote an article where you did make a score prediction, you're going to have to.
Well, I don't see any reason why the streak stops now. Bama's undefeated in week 1 since Saban arrived. That's 9 in a row. I think it's going to be 10 in a row. Going to be a pretty good football game. I think a lot closer than what most people are saying, especially through the first three quarters. I expect it to be pretty tight, as this team kind of comes together a little bit. USC is probably going to have a big player too. That's understandable. It's early in the year. It's going to be hard to stop something that you haven't seen before. That being said, I think Alabama, I think it's close to 3. I think Alabama pulls away in the fourth quarter. I'm going with 37-23 Bama.
I tell you, you're actually overshooting the line, which is I think I saw one place where it was 10, but most places it's in the 11 and a half range. You're overshooting the college line. It seems like you feel really, really confident about this game.
Well, I just think Bama will be more prepared for the fourth quarter. Like I said, close game up until the end, and then I think we'll see a couple of big plays, big stops and big plays that'll lead to some late points and put Bama well ahead in this one.
It's going to be fun to watch, brother. I look forward to watching it until Auburn starts. Then I might have to bail out and just catch you during commercials. But that's the one frustrating thing about when you have a great college football weekend lineup is trying to figure out how you're going to watch all the games. Yep. It's a good problem to have.
College football hangover come Tuesday morning.
I know, and I can't wait.
Yeah, me too.
It's time. All right, we can't end this thing until we talk about our annual Iron Bowl bet, and we're upping the stakes this year.
Are you ready for this?
First of all, you gave me 15 points last week.
That was a little before I had a kind of a different feeling about Auburn's year. Maybe might have jumped the gun just a little bit.
So you don't want to do the 15 now?
How about 9? How about 9.5?
I know it makes me feel good as an Auburn fan, right?
Yeah, I know it makes you feel good.
Since I'm a nice guy, I'll split it with you. We'll split the difference and 12. But you got to give me something because you're already committed to it.
12 it is. That's better than 15.
Well, you told me that you had a plan for what the bet was going to be this year, not something simple like lunch or something.
Oh, no, because you never paid up anyway. So, typical Auburn fan.
I didn't lose the bet last year. There was nothing to pay, brother.
Oh, you did lose the bet last year.
I did not. I had the points, and I didn't have to, brother. We covered. Auburn covered last year. I didn't have to buy no lunch.
You owe me something. Anyway, okay. Here's the bet. This year, when Bama beats Auburn by 12, you have to cover your bumper of your car in Auburn decals.
In Auburn decals? All right.
In Alabama decals. You have to cover your car in Alabama decals. You have to, for 52 weeks, wear an Alabama t-shirt 1 day a week, take a picture of it, post it on social media with a caption that says, Bama at heart, roll tide.
You've lost your mind. I'm going to counter that, and you're going to take my counter because I took your counter on the points.
Okay. All right. Let me hear it.
I'll stick stuff on the car. If I lose the bet, I'll stick stuff on the car, but it can't be sticky stuff. I ain't putting no stickers on my car.
Okay, so the magnet works then.
I'll do magnets, but I don't even put Auburn stickers on my Lincoln. Come on. And flags. I'd be open to doing flags.
2 flags.
This whole year thing, we shrink it down to a month, so it's 4 weeks.
Does it have to be 4 consecutive weeks, or can I pick?
No, I want to do it and get it over with. It'll start whenever. It can start the week right. Well, I'll let you pick what week it starts. How about that?
Oh, the day after the Iron Bowl.
Okay, if that's what you want. I'm just saying, I'll be lenient on that. We can either go the day after the Iron Bowl for 4 weeks, or you can wait till January, you can wait to February, you can wait to whatever. With the understanding that vice versa is true. If you lose, it's the exact same deal.
And every time the phone rings, you have to answer it. Roll Tide, this is Brett Mason. How may I help you?
God. Well, you are confident this year, ain't you?
Yeah, I am.
What's going to happen when you figure out that something was going horribly wrong with your Crimson Tide that you didn't see coming, and suddenly Auburn is having one of them spectacular years? Week 6, you're going to come back begging me to change the bet?
You're going to have to find a new podcast partner. I'm out.
All right, brother, it's a deal. We'll lock it in.
All right, we got it.
We got our Iron Bowl bet locked in, and we got a big college weekend ahead of us. Really excited about it. You're going to get the Bama game starts at 7, then the Auburn game starts at 8. It's a whole weekend of games, and they start tonight. It's going to be a good weekend of college football, and we will talk about it all next week on the show. I look forward to doing it then, man. War Eagle, buddy.
Roll Tide, brother.
Crimson Corner is part of the Brett Mason Media Network. Online at BrettMasonMedia.com. Thanks for listening to the show. If you loved it, please share with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes or the Google Play Store. And roll Tide.